There's been a lot of passing about, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not talking about pass the dutchie. They've been passing some very interesting bills for cryptocurrency. So why is the market not reacting? I guess it's the calm before the storm. It's a monumental day for cryptocurrency, to say the least, guys. Genius Bill's been passed, the Clarity Act, the Clarity Bill, and the crypto market structure bill's been all passed. And it's just a wonderful time for crypto. Gentlemen pretty much put it clearly. Imagine using Altcoin for collateral for your new $1 million house. Could you imagine that? Madness, isn't it? Now you can see where we're going right now with cryptocurrency. It's great news. But this is a question for the guys who are about the decentralization. It's done. It really is. Decentralization is finished. The only thing that the government isn't really tapping into yet is, of course, the DeFi markets. That's when it gets interesting. But you guys, I mean, look, we need it. I've said it before. Cryptocurrency ain't going to go nowhere unless Wall Street gets involved. Now you're going to be seeing wonderful forms of hedging happening across cryptocurrency. Gone are the days where it's a whale bought 5 million XRP and, a whale's deposited 10,000 Bitcoin. We're going to be dealing with much more serious numbers than that, ladies and gents. And because you're going to have more and more participants doing that, that naturally is then going to end up sending Bitcoin's price to significant levels, but then it's going to get suppressed. And that's the problem with the supply. Whoever holds the most of it is in a position to control it. And where do you think it's all going? Yes, it's going to BlackRock. But you know what? Who cares? If you make money from it, it does not matter whether it's decentralization or whether you're in it for the tech. I know no one's in it for the tech right now, because they wouldn't be making $3.5 billion worth of profit, and short-term holders would not be on the edge of their seats getting ready to sell even more. Ain't no one in it for the tech. No one. And if you are in it for the tech, you're dunced out. You really are. Because out of nowhere, we're seeing these wallets just deposit Bitcoin into exchanges just to take some money off the table. I mean, come on, man. It was good while it lasted in the sense of the technology and what have you. But you've got XRP now. Yeah, that's tech. When an asset class can be compared to a human's heart rate, okay. I really am going to petition to try and get XRP's ticker symbol changed to ECG. Those of you that don't know about that, just go and watch the live stream from earlier on today where I had my rant complaining about why XRP is just a pain in the ass. But anyways, well done, everyone. Your bills have been passed. And in tonight's live stream, we're going to break it all down just to help you understand what is likely to happen next. Because Asia, they tend to move crypto quite a bit. If they hear good news, they put it to the charts. So let's break it all down and make sense of what's been going on today, ladies and gentlemen. Here we go. Welcome this evening. Welcome, welcome. Why have only 10% of people liked? I don't know, man. It's there. But I'm giving the benefit of doubt that if people are watching me on their TV screen, it's kind of difficult getting up and trying to touch your screen when it doesn't give you the option to do so. Unless you're really cool and you've got that facility, then shame on you if you haven't got up off your chair and liked the stream. Simple as. Let's break it down. Here we go. So look at the title at the top there. Breaking! Crypto market gets major win as Congress passes stablecoin bill. Bear with me a second. We're going to talk about that. We need to break down the stock market first. That's some good news, man. We ain't seen that much of a problem with all the big tech companies. Netflix came through today. They did really well on weakening dollar, which is naturally going to grow their subscriber base. That's what their belief is. But they did relatively well with their earnings. Only fractionally. They didn't really smash it, but there was a projection for the earnings per share. I think it was at 11.06, and it came in at 11.8, something like that. But they did relatively well, and we'll talk about that in a second. But in this article here, everything's looking great for the stock market, ladies and gentlemen, okay? Now, this is what I want to draw your attention to. There was a bit of a conversation, right? Chris Zaccarelli at Northlight Asset Management says the following thing, and this is very important. Says here, as long as the economy continues to expand and unemployment remains low, then people will continue to spend and the flywheel can keep generating higher profits, which is the engine for higher stock prices, okay? So from an economical point of view, it's clear as day that the US, the economy itself, is sustaining itself in relation to this battle that the Fed has regarding interest rates and inflation. Further on, he just goes on to say the following. Jamie says, now we just need to see if the Federal Reserve has enough inflation data to communicate more clearly that September will restart the rate cutting cycle. Now, all of you, do you think that the Fed is going to cut? The bets are not there. They're really not. They haven't. Whoa, it's gone up. It's moving up. That was at 44% today. Now it's at 46%. This is for rate cuts in September, and they're expecting 4.25, 4.5%. Do you understand why I keep pulling this chart up? Because it's so important, because that's going to dictate whether or not assets are going to appreciate with the dollar. It's going to determine if investors are seeking the safety of the euro, for gold, for the yen. Is the carry trade coming into play now? If the yen's going down and the dollar's going up, and then the stock market is going up equally on the back of the US dollar, that means the carry trade is coming into play. They're borrowing yen, selling it, converting it into dollars, because it's too expensive to get engaged in dollars right now. So what do? They quickly get their yen because it's cheap to borrow and then convert it over into US dollars, which makes sense as to why the stock market's going up alongside the US dollar. But if the interest rates still stay high, it will in future start to suppress the economy. But based off the data that we've been getting, nah, man, you're doing pretty well, US. There seems to be brilliant resilience in the marketplace, which is going to then aid even more investors to plant money into assets. Now, what I'm going to do right now, ladies and gentlemen, is just quickly go over what we're here to talk about with regards to the cryptocurrency bills that have passed. It's great news and what have you. So what I'm going to do now is just quickly break down each of those bills, just to give you a bit of an insight into what's actually happened. But just to summarize it all, the Genius bill's being passed, and that is it now. This is the flooding. This is when the gates open up for Wall Street to now speculate with cryptocurrency at a next level. And I'm talking lots of liquidity to come into the marketplace. But don't get it twisted. The market's just not going to go parabolic and just give you a pencil every single day when you come into the charts, as much as we would love that to be the case. But it's not going to happen. There will be consolidation. There will be expansion. There will be ranges. There will be all sorts of madness. But the overall theme is that they are now stepping into crypto. So they're going to do what they do best and accumulate. Okay. So when you're looking at the bill being passed and nothing's coming into action, you're then going to say to yourself, well, when will it happen? This is where perseverance comes in, and where you have to be very patient, because Bitcoin now is going to be put in companies' treasuries. They're going to be accumulating it. Now, is it going to happen at these levels? Who knows? Maybe this level right now on Bitcoin is the actual optimal level right now. This consolidation here is the optimal level for investors to start getting involved in it. You're going to have the investors who heard about the crypto bill and the bills being passed. So that's right here. Here we go. So House passes the Genius Act. Happy days. And then we go over to here. It said, well, this was an endorses the Genius bill, but this is what we're looking at. House passes the Clarity Act in a major win for crypto regulation. And then, of course, we've got the crypto market structure bill passing the US House. So that's great news. And now we're just waiting for Donald Trump to just get it all signed off, signed, sealed, delivered, and happy days to the upside. Okay. But don't think that just because it's great news means Bitcoin is going to equally react to it. There's going to be accumulation. All right. That's not me trying to piss on your fire. It's me to tell you that if this thing's really going to explode, they're going to try and get their orders in and suppress it as much as they can before they can actually mark Bitcoin's price as high as they can physically get it. Okay. And that's why Michael Saylor does have a point in Bitcoin's trajectory in terms of how far it's going to go. We're going to see probably I would say by December. Okay. Once all these companies have effectively got their practices in place, and how are they going to earn money off it? And then, of course, you've got Circle. I mean, look, man, bloody hell, where is it? Circle over here. You know, that thing is just going to go. I'm sorry. This is going to fly because your bill's done. And it's already trading 0.26%. It was trading negative today, but now it's basically coming back to where it was yesterday. Okay. But ladies and gentlemen, like it's good news. It's really good news. This is after hours market. So you can see it's already expanding in the out of hours market. So investors, this is where they're going. Wall Street, that is. They're going to go to these guys. They're going to place their orders, do the stable coins, and then it's just going to all work into fashion. Then we've got to wait for them to actually create the product that they're going to use. Okay, so it's not going to happen overnight, But the fact that the bill's been passed, they're going to be putting things into action to get this thing off the road. And when you start seeing this going up and all the markets going down, you just know that investors are plowing into this stock. So pay attention to Circle. And I've said it before, there will be a stock split with this one, because if it gets too expensive, they're then eliminating the prospects of more money coming into it to let the retail trader step in. That market cap is going to surge. I'm telling you, easy $100 billion market cap. I mean, that is cheap as chips when you think about it. Going over into Coinbase itself to look at that in comparison to market cap, you can see 104 billion. All right. And they've had it so much exposure, and they have, look, developed a platform to invest and use crypto assets for retail users, institutions, and ecosystem partners. So they're just platforms, okay? But Circle is creating a stable coin. It's creating a purpose, leverage, if I'm quite frank with you, for other institutional investors to get involved in cryptocurrency. So that's the great news about it. Now, I want to address something, okay? Tino, are we in altcoin season? I'm going to show you a chart that could verify that we might not be just yet, and why the idea of altcoin season. So this morning I gave you a bit of a heads up on something, okay, regarding market cap and all the other fun and games when it comes to trading. But I'm going to share a chart with you, not this one, but I'm going to share a chart with you that could give us the idea of maybe when altcoin season could come in. But what I want to try and get to you is, if Bitcoin's going up, everything's going up. Simple as, because it's getting to a point now where cryptocurrency is based on sentiment. If everyone's buying, why aren't I buying? Doesn't matter what the price is. If everyone is buying, why am I not buying? And that's how each individual investor is going to see it. This chart right here is the percentage of cryptocurrencies above the 50-day average, okay? And it's safe to say that we are in what would look like a bullish market, because over 80% of cryptocurrencies are trading above their 50-day moving average. That's great news. And you can see already from this line right here that it can go further. It can go above it like significantly. There's lots of optimism right now in the cryptocurrency space. So if you're trying to work out if you were in a bullish market, well, you can establish that we're above the 50-day moving average. And that itself, this is off the daily chart. And you can see that is representing a bullish market. Now, let me show you this chart right here. This chart is the percentage of cryptocurrencies outperforming Bitcoin over a rolling 63-day period. Fundamentally, we know that when Bitcoin starts to consolidate and come down, the altcoins tend to have their day. This chart is saying otherwise. Now, it is over a 63-day period. Is it long enough? But if you get altcoins move up 5 cents, apparently, and whatever altcoin it is, apparently it's altcoin season, or it's happening, it's coming, it's... Give me the metrics, man. Back your logic. Don't give me it's happening. That does nothing for me. What's happening? What is happening? XRP moved. I know XRP moved. I mean, look, man, it explodes 32% for the weekly rally. Awesome. And the golden cross is coming. Ladies and gentlemen, just before we go back into that chart, let's just go and praise this asset class. I mean, it's up 10%. Fuck. What to do? It's going to come crashing down. I'm telling you. I've got trauma with this asset. Do you understand? The amount of times I've seen it go, and I'll be like, just hold on, Tina, hold on. Hoorah. And then it just comes down again, and then I've just got this love-hate relationship with XRP. It's like, I know it's just gonna screw me over, but I'm back for more, man. I need that ECG flavor in my life. Majority of assets are still trading above, or actually altcoins. They're not outperforming Bitcoin yet. You guys will use the metrics of the Bitcoin dominance, okay? Bitcoin dominance is coming down. The Bitcoin is still up, and Bitcoin is significantly up. I mean, yes, Solana has had a wonderful move to the upside. Ethereum ain't stopping, but XRP, you absolute genius, you're doing great. Who would have known? Who would have known? But the main emphasis of this chart right here is this. Each of these peaks is when Bitcoin started to move down, okay? Now, this peak right here shows that 45% of cryptocurrencies outperforming Bitcoin, all right? We have Bitcoin, then we have the altcoin market. There's no other coin outside of Bitcoin. Any coin outside of Bitcoin is a meme coin, okay? But before anybody starts going, yeah, but Chainlink is really like the sophistication of the developers. That's bullshit. If it's not Bitcoin, it's nothing. I'm only just reciting what Sailor says. Do not shoot the messenger. Nah. I just got the balls to say it in front of you all. I know I'll get backlash from it, but what do you want? I never promised you a rose garden, bro. You know? 45% of cryptocurrencies at that point right there were outperforming Bitcoin. Then we go over here. 35% of cryptocurrencies outperforming Bitcoin. Where's altcoin season? It has to show a clear percentage. And we're not even above the line. We get above the line, the green line, it will then start to represent that there are altcoins outperforming Bitcoin. Okay? Logic says this thing goes up, we're then on a trajectory to see altcoins outperform Bitcoin. Now, I might just say it. I might just say this. Is it safe to say that XRP is outperforming Bitcoin? Ah, no. God forbid we say that. I mean... and then sort of done the same thing, really. Like, let's just give it the benefit of the doubt. Man, screw XRP, man. I'm not wasting my time with that bloody asset anyway. Let's just quickly go over to the stock market and have a look at what's going on over there. So NASDAQ smashed it today. We had some good days on the Platinum membership for setup. So here is the NASDAQ setup I sent out. And if you want setups like this, pinned to the top of the chat is a discount code, which is called all-time high. So all uppercase. And use that in the checkout for Platinum membership. All you got to do is just go over to the memberships tab on the Traders Reality website and put it into this area here. Go to add to cart and put the discount code all-time high, all uppercase, and you get the 20% off your first month in the membership. You get access to a private Discord where you're able to communicate with the guys and take advantage of plays like this. So we had an expectation. This was a really nice move, but it was hard. Look. We're wanting to see NASDAQ come down in towards the entry point of 23,069. And then we got another entry point at 23,090. Okay. And you can see NASDAQ today did that beautiful move. It came into that 23,060 and 66. You had zero drawdown on that move. And it shot all the way up towards 23,281. And our projection was 23,224. And we wanted 23,307. So we missed that. But man, they just completely ripped it to the upside today. So that was a great play on the NASDAQ. Cryptocurrency, I'm still waiting for the setups to come into action because I am expecting some more movement with cryptocurrency. But we'll talk about that tomorrow, because the Asian session tonight, I believe, is going to bring some form of volatility off the back of this information regarding the bills that are being passed, okay? Now, quickly updating, all-time high on the ETF, ladies and gents, 720,054, 93 billion assets under management. ARK's been moving a bit of Bitcoin, but Grayscale's picked up some more Bitcoin and Fidelity's picked up some more Bitcoin. Not really seeing anything from BlackRock, but never mind. The balance is going up and the money heist is actively happening as we are speaking. Speaking of which, let's quickly go over into the ETF to have a look at the pricing of that and structurally where we can expect it to go. So you can see it is trading sideways because it's literally mimicking Bitcoin's price action. Lots of gaps and up and down. I do have a price projection that I do believe this asset is going to end up at around $80 a share, just be $80 per contract by the time we get towards Christmas, okay? So it doesn't really move up too much. I mean, Bitcoin would really need to be moving significantly for us to go into any higher price projections, but I expect it to get to around $80 towards Christmas time, okay? So that's where my price projection is for that. Quickly going over into other assets as well. Gold has been starting to, well, it made a nice little move to the downside, which is what we wanted today. And the expectation of interest rates to get cut is kind of putting gold in a bit of a tricky situation, because if the US economy is doing great, there's no reason to be in a safe haven right now. there's every reason to be in high risk. And you know what, ladies and gentlemen, it's getting kind of interesting because the Nasdaq is just trailing higher and higher. The S&P is just going up. There it is. Look at that nice, beautiful move to the upside. It's not bloody stopping. The bonds market, treasuries are trading flat. The 10-year and the 5-year and the 2-year are currently trading flat as well. 10-year bond market still trading flat. So that tells me that if the bonds market is trading flat, then that suggests to me that the stock market itself is taking on risk. Okay. But there will be movement once we know where we are with the tariffs, with the Eurozone. Again, you guys are being fed some very interesting diversions, okay? We've got word on the street that Donald Trump has got a problem with his veins in his legs, okay? So there's a bit of a problem because he's always standing up. Maybe if you're not going out to countries and slapping tariffs every 5 minutes, sit down for a day, man. Anyways, ran over. But you've just got to put it into perspective, guys, that where we are with tariffs as well, because it's still quiet. We don't know what's going on with the Eurozone right now. The dollar dominance is going to keep on climbing. Don't sleep on it. Really, do not sleep on dollar. And that effectively tells you the heads up on how you're likely going to expect euro to behave. In my opinion, euro is going to just take a wonderful move to the downside because the dollar dominance is going to come back up. At the same time, Bitcoin's going up on the dollar. Nasdaq's going up on the dollar. Why do you think that's the case? Because the same asset classes that they can now buy dollars with. Imagine this. I said it earlier on. Your interest rates on the US dollar are 4.25, 4.5%, roughly speaking, 4.33. Okay? It's within that range. Are you going to go and buy? I'll ask this question again. Are you going to go and buy? You're going to go borrow money now at a rate of 4.3%. Give me your yays, give me your nays. All right? Those of you who want to borrow money at 4.33%, say yes. Those of you that don't want to borrow money at 4.33%, say no. And don't give me no fancy responses either. Just give me a yay or a nay. Okay? I want to know what you guys are saying. There is a saying, stupid head doesn't give legs a break. Yeah, this is true. True. I want to know, yay or nay. Look, first answer, no. No one wants to borrow at those high rates. However, what if you are a savvy investor? You've been in the game for quite some time, and you're looking in the hemisphere of the stock markets and all foreign exchange markets, and you say to yourself, how am I going to put to work money that I've got? What avenues can I go with? Here we go. No. Janus from PL says yes. You are a cool guy. You braved that. Anyways, listen. What I'm trying to say to you is, as an investor, I need to navigate, or hedge fund, I need to navigate where I'm going to get my best money. Yield is the term. So if my stock market is going up, my dollar is going up, my Bitcoin's going up, everything against the US dollar, in principle, that should be coming down is going up. What's going on? Well, my euro is strong. So let me start getting my euros converted over to dollars, because I can get quite a few dollars with my strong euro. Hold on a second. I know that if I get my euros, I go and borrow euros, yeah? And the rate that I'm going to get charged on the euro right now is coming in at 2.15%. Right, fuck it. Let me go and borrow some euros and pay an interest rate of 2.15%, okay? Awesome. Get my euros, convert it over to dollars. I'm already winning because I'm not paying 4.3% on borrowing dollars, okay? All right, so then what else can I do? Well, I then need to get those euros that I've just borrowed. My base is 2.15%. So now that I've converted that over to dollars, I'm already making a saving even on the conversion because I'm not having to borrow dollars. Right, I've got my dollars now. What am I going to do? I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to go over to the stock market and start buying the life out of AI stocks, or go and plant myself into ETFs. Because of the volatility of the marketplace and the great news from the US economy and the employment claims coming lower, and even though we've got high inflation, it doesn't matter to me because I know I'm going to make a return off the back of the rates that are being borrowed on the euro. So it's a win-win for me. Let me plow it into the stock market. Stock market is at all-time highs. That's the mentality. Well, it doesn't stop there. Hold on a second. It doesn't stop there. Wait a second. Maybe I don't want to play with the euros. I don't like the eurozone. Maybe 2.15% is a little bit too much. Let me go over to the Japanese yen. All right, the Japanese yen is less than 0.5%. My days, that is some despicably cheap money. Let me go and get a shit ton of yen. Let me go and buy as much yen as possible. Let me go borrow as much yen as possible. Let me put some collateral down, maybe Altcoin, because your genius actor is going to allow that. And now I can borrow myself some yen. Let me get my yen, because I'm going to go buy Japanese stocks, man, even though they are expanding and Warren Buffett is picking a load of them up as well. So you know what? I'll get my Japanese yen, and what else will I do? I'll go and convert it over to US dollars, man. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. And then that would then mean what? That I'm part of the carry trade. So I exploit my yen, borrow a ton of it because it's cheap as hell, low yielding asset, convert that over to the dollar, then get the dollar, then chuck that all into the US stock market. So then you're answering yourself the question as to why the stock market's going up against the US dollar. But one major thing is, your US dollar has zilch purchasing power, so investors are using currencies to exploit the fact that the interest rate is still high. They're not borrowing dollars. Inflation is smacking the life out of the dollar, but they're using the value of foreign Forex pairs such as euro, pound, and yen because of their low rates, exception of pound. But euro and yen, they're using that now. What was previously a safe haven is now the risk-on asset class. And the way you understand that is if the euro starts to go down and the yen starts to go down, you've got that money going straight into the dollar, and you back that up by looking at the dollar strength and the value of where stocks are in relation to it. Because if they're not going into the stock market in the sense of the bonds, that means they're not interested in low risk. They're interested in high risk. That's why your stock market is at all-time highs. They're not borrowing dollars. They're going elsewhere. That is Forex 101. 2 words: perceived value. That whole discussion right now was about getting you to understand that hedge fund managers are seeking yield. The channels that they go to try and get hold of that yield, whether they convert euros to yen, or yen to euros, or yen to dollars, however they do it, it's to avoid having to pay up so much up front. And if they do try and take on the dollars and borrow dollars, they're going to have to make sure that they are solidified in their conviction, because they're already at a loss when they're borrowing dollars. So you know what? I'll borrow euro, I'll borrow yen, convert it into dollars. Bang, your stock market's moving up. When your dollar gets above 100 and the purchasing power is leading to appreciation, the whole cycle then resets. I may as well exchange my dollars. If I'm getting 7% appreciation on the dollar when it trades at 107, I can go and get myself a shit ton of euros off my dollar and gain a 7% appreciation in principal on top. Wow. And all they're doing is just moving money from left to right. That is it. All right. I hope that makes sense to you all, ladies and gentlemen. Finally, remember, there's a discount code for the membership on the Traders Reality website. Use it. Take advantage of it. You get 20% off your first month. It's pinned to the top of the chat. But what I've just relayed over to you now is something that I do every single day, but in more depth for Platinum members to help them align themselves with entries on how to exploit the marketplace. With that being said, have a wonderful evening, ladies and gentlemen. Hit the like button and subscribe. And buy XRP. So that I can sell it. Ha! I'm joking. No, yeah, but I'm not. But, you know, yeah, anyways, I'm out.